Hey, what's going on, guys? Back again with our NFL Week 7 DFS picks for Draftkings or FanDuel. Me and Joe took the week off doing the video picks on this channel last week because it was Canadian Thanksgiving, so I just spent some time with the family on the weekend. But we're back here, NFL Week 7. Joe's going to start off with his picks, and then I'll get into my picks afterwards. So take it away, Joe.
Thanks, Kev. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, man. Just wanted to shout out a few people in the community that you've built here that have jumped over to my live streams over on Twitch on Sunday mornings, 11:30 Eastern time. It's been a lot of fun to kind of jump on after kickoff as well and kind of sweat the games. We'll continue to do that, but let's jump right into the picks. It is an interesting week 7. My first GPP pick for you guys for week 7 is going to be a Saquon Barkley all the way up at 8,900. So I do think that someone like Latavius Murray at 5,100 is a great cash game play. Now the Kamara is out, but I think if you were to pay all the way up, I think most people are going to go the Dalvin Cook route this week again against Detroit. So Saquon coming off that ankle injury, there is some risk involved here, but if you get a discount as far as ownership, it is a fantastic spot against Arizona. We've been targeting teams that we've been playing against Arizona the entire year. It's a nice team total as well, but I wanted to highlight the fact that Arizona can be beaten on the ground, but in particular through the air. They are the 31st best team at defending running backs out of the passing game. So it's an amazing spot for Saquon. If he is truly coming back at full strength, that $8,900 price tag might scare some people away, and we might get an elite volume running back at reduced ownership in tournaments. My second GPP pick for week 7 is going to be a Chargers wide receiver, but not Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. I actually think that he is one of the guys that would make a lot of sense, especially at his price point. He's at 4,600. So I do think that on DraftKings in particular, he's a great way to save salary. If people do want to go the Keenan Allen route, I will say that Mike Williams has actually come close to doubling Keenan Allen's share of team air yards. So he's someone that I do think that could be kind of due for some positive regression. Williams is a lot cheaper than Allen as well, and you guys know my style. I'm almost always paying up for running back, so Mike Williams is going to be some salary saving that I'm definitely going to need. I think he's an awesome play in tournaments. With a good majority of the ownership probably skewing towards someone like Evan Ingram at the tight end position, that's just another reason I think Saquon is an amazing play in week 7. So at the tight end position in particular, a guy I'm looking at is Darren Waller at 4,700 against Green Bay. The matchup, just middle of the pack, but if we look at something like weighted opportunity rating, I do use that pretty heavily for the wide receiver position. But Darren Waller popping heavily in that metric as well. 0.61 is pretty elite. So he's someone that is running pretty deep routes down the field as well. So that could be part of it. But I do think that now that Tyrell Williams has been ruled out, just more volume towards Darren Waller, never a bad thing. I think at 4,700, makes a lot of sense to pay down from Evan Ingram in some spots if you did want to kind of upgrade at some other positions. But Evan Ingram going to be the chalk. I think that kind of pivoting away from that at tight end in particular, a position that does carry a little bit more variance, definitely makes some sense. My next GPP pivot has to do with how much I like this Arizona and New York Giants game. I know you guys have probably picked up on that by now. Kyler Murray, I think, is a fantastic play, but I do think he'll carry some ownership as well. The guy I'm looking at as far as a pivot is someone that I don't play a whole lot of, but Larry Fitzgerald at 6,100. David Johnson has been limited all week in practice. We don't know if we will get Christian Kirk back as well. It sounds like Christian Kirk, if he was to play today, would not have played. So Larry Fitzgerald, 6,100. What I like the best about Larry Fitz this week is that he's priced only 200 more than T.Y. Hilton, who is expected to be just massive chalk against this Houston team that he has shredded in the past. So I actually think that Fitzgerald could be in for some pretty crazy volume at 6,100. He's not someone that typically has just slate breaking upside, but I think that the options are super thin. I'm trying to figure out how to get access to Kyler Murray because I do think Kyler Murray is one of the better quarterback plays on the slate as well. So Larry Fitz in tournaments this week, I'm definitely behind that one. All right, my last GPP pick for you guys, I always want to give you a stack. So the stack that I'm looking at today is going to be Josh Allen to John Brown. I miss stacking those guys up, but I'm also going to bring it back with Preston Williams on the other side of this game. So Buffalo versus Miami. It is a nice team total, of course, for this Buffalo team against this Miami defense that basically can be beat in a lot of different ways, right? So one thing that I do think is super important is that Miami is actually 31st in the league at defending the deep pass. So something that Josh Allen definitely likes to do is air it out. He's going to give you a lot of kind of equity on the ground as well. So John Brown is someone that was limited throughout the week in practice as well, but you can sometimes get a decent discount as far as ownership's concerned. If this guy was healthy, he would be extremely popular this week. So if you can get on him a little bit early, I think this is a good spot to do so. Hopefully we have a healthy Josh Allen who'd be willing to run a little bit more as well. But this Miami team is incredibly bad. So I will say that Preston Williams on the other side, might be a little bit thin. He let a lot of people down last week, and one thing that I really like to do in tournaments is jump back on a popular kind of GPP play from the week before that underperformed. So 3,900 for Preston Williams. This is a pretty cheap stack overall. It's going to allow you to get in a bunch of running back volume as well. So Preston Williams, I do think that he's probably thin relative to kind of the other guys in his price range. Maybe you're paying down for a Lazard for Green Bay if you believe in what Aaron Rodgers thinks there. But Preston Williams, I think that if you were to roll it back with one guy on Miami, he would be the one I would do it with. That's going to do it for me this week, guys. I'm going to kick things back to Kev. I will say, if you haven't already, come check out my channel, really scaling up the NFL content throughout the week, throwing out some first looks at each position as well. That just started, but if you want to build lineups a little bit earlier in the week, you might enjoy those videos. And definitely check out my Instagram, instagram.com/Joe Holka. I post my top 5 picks at each and every position every Saturday if you don't have quite as much time to research. But that's about it. Kev, what do you got for us this week?
All right, thanks for those picks, Joe. I've got 2 GPP picks myself. I'm going to list the Draftkings pricing with these players. I would play them on FanDuel as well. I just list the Draftkings price because that's where I play. So starting off, we got running back Josh Jacobs from the Raiders, $5,000 this week on Draftkings. Not the best situation here as they're 5-point underdogs in Green Bay, but Green Bay is 25th in DraftKings points against running backs. So a couple running backs have had some big days against Green Bay, and I think Josh Jacobs could be set up for a pretty solid day. I like him at that price. He had a monster 32 DraftKings points last week on 26 carries against a good Bears defense. So very productive there, and I think he's going to have another good week here against the Packers. And at the price, I like him at $5,000. There's lots of higher priced running backs that are worth playing this week, but if you want a little bit cheaper, you want to save some money, I think Josh Jacobs is a pretty good spot to go, especially in GPPs. Next up here, we got a strictly GPP play, tight end Gerald Everett. If you're playing cash, there's lots of great cash options. You're going to have to pay up a little bit for some very solid high floor type tight end plays. But for GPPs like Gerald Everett at 3,700, he's in a good spot against the Falcons as 3-point favorites with the second highest team total on the board. So the Rams are expected to put up a lot of points. Everett could get in on it. His usage has gone up here. He's seen 8, 11, and 5 targets his past 3 games. And the Falcons are 26th in DraftKings points against versus tight ends. So he's in a good spot, a good price for GPP lineups if you want to spend up at other positions. So that's my other GPP pick for this week. Hopefully these guys go off for us this week. Hopefully we have a good week. Hopefully Joe's picks do well. And hopefully you guys make some money this week. If you guys enjoyed this video, please do us a big favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And good luck this week. Talk to you guys later.